Good morning and welcome to Dave's Vintage Equipment. Today we're going to take a road trip. We're going to go out to the San Joaquin Valley and look at some nice old antiques and talk about family history. And we're going to pass a whole convoy of rock crawlers heading down south for that King of the Hammers. Wish I was going. North Flynn Road, that's my great grandmother's side of the family. They actually had 15 square miles of farm and cattle land up on top of the mountains there. Well, at the hills. And just neat things I see along the way, like this nice looking tow truck. Pulling a not so nice looking car, or truck. And here we are heading out through, almost in Tracy. You remember that right side was nothing but cropland, and they did have, when I was a kid, they had some old Burma shave signs out there. And I remember the biggest thing you'd see was Pombo Realty. Now we're heading out Tracy Boulevard, and I love it when it's green like this. The river's up real high right now. And over here on the right, well, you'll see a nice old Peterbilt, and it's been there for a long time. And just more cropland and just peaceful and quiet out here. It is pretty out here. And this late winter, early spring is so green. Now on the right up here by them palm trees, you'll see a nice looking old flatbed truck. It's up on blocks though, I guess to protect the tires. And a little further out, see a lot of vineyards and a lot of orchards the last few years. And some gentlemen out working on ditches. Yep. And a little closer up by those trees, there used to be a one-room schoolhouse called the Garden School. A lot of my family on mom's side went to school there. The cattle, keeping cattle out here is a new thing this year. Oops. Got to turn around when you miss that turnoff. Let's see if we don't miss it this time. That's supposed to be all almonds on the left, I believe. Not sure what's growing on the right. And there's those moo critters again. Yeah, that's something new this year that I've not seen out there before like that. Now let's head on down this gravel, or kind of gravel farm road. Had to go a little bit slower so we don't tear the car apart. Yeah, that little ditch on the left, you'll find crawdads and water snakes and frogs and, red-eared sliders, that's turtles, and a whole lot of waterfowl. Right now you'll mostly see red-winged blackbirds doing their song around there. I guess that would be them singing. And had to duck and dodge a couple really bad potholes here. Need to run the grader out here. Well, somebody does, not me. I don't think I do a very good job with a grader. I see a hay barn we're coming up on, and I smell antique trucks and antique tractors. Well, I see some New Holland. Ooh, I see an Oliver 70. And I see one of the old KBs. Yeah, that's a 47 KB5. Some old beat up cars. And Mr. Floatin', what do you think that boom is attached to? A lot of nice tractors over there to go look at. An old Ross hay squeeze. Now this area used to look so pretty. Yes, that is an old McCormick Deering. Rumor has it that my grandfather actually used that one at one time. That's a 1918 Garford. And that is an old aero motor off the top of a windmill. Yeah. The only real differences were that custom made windshield, because that didn't come in the great big crate of parts. And my uncle put that together from a crate of parts. This is my Uncle Jack's very first pickup truck. And we're about to go take a look at it, because in those horrible January rains we had this year, this tree come down, and yeah, it come down where you wished it wouldn't have come down. That's an old Chrysler. I think it's a 48. Nice old A model John Deere in there. And yeah, you can see the pickup truck is not looking happy. The shed and a tree on top of it. It's got some damage to the fender, a little bit of damage to the hood. I saw a piece of cracked glass and a little bit of damage to the roof of the cab. Need to get up here one day and give that a little loving. I love that old Chrysler. It's actually remarkably clean under that tarp. And this, when my Uncle Jack built the house, he built that little water fountain out front. And I'll tell you what, as a kid on a hot summer day, there was nothing better than a drink of cold water from that fountain. You know, even now in my older years, I still go over and I take a look at that water fountain. It just brings back warm and good memories. Now, the fingers. Now this, it's got a good story. It was found in a ditch and brought home eventually. It's really clean. It's a 5-window. And if you look at the corners, there's not very much rot at all. Actually, there's not any that I could see. And the doors are inside. I don't know what this is off of. I just thought it was a neat looking old wheel. And that's looking down the driveway. This is the old river nearby. It's up real high. And that water was flowing like crazy. And you look across the river, and there's nothing but farmland over there. And now it's all houses developed all the way down and around that bend down there. It's kind of sad. You know, eventually they'll get across the river and get the farmland, and that'll be sad. Now this is for my Aunt Maureen. Here's your favorite tree. It's well over 120 years old. They recently went in there and they had to trim back a lot of the dead wood to keep her doing well. The finger. And another view out there at that, all that development across the river. Yuck. Yeah, that's all I can come up with is yuck. At least that's all that's printable. I wish you could really enjoy all the... I must have did something wrong with my video editing. I'm showing it twice. But if you look along the river there, you would have seen just a remarkable amount of waterfowl. I guess herons and cranes and things. So Uncle Mike and Uncle Jimmy were mainly into alfalfa, as you can see from their equipment. Although off to the left right there, that used to be a walnut orchard back in there before they got root rot. And this right here, this crown sprayer was what they used in the orchard. It was a pull behind powered by a Continental, and that's what they used to apply whatever fertilizers or other chemicals were needed. It's a neat looking old piece of equipment. I really love those tires and those spoked wheels like that. And it's got a Continental 6 in it, and it's mostly there. Matter of fact, oh well, here's another one we'll take a look at, and it's pretty clean, although it does have the most interesting hydraulic setup here on the right side of it. You can see some of that interesting setup. That's been around the farm since it was brand new. And yeah, it does start up and run. Let's see, we'll even take a look here at the serial number for the Farmall fanatics. Some more of the fingers. That right there, that grader, is a W.A. Riddell Company road grader. It's got an Oliver drivetrain in it. You can see the Oliver in there. And it's a neat little thing. It originally was used by the city and county of San Francisco in their roads department. And you look on this side, you can. Oh, that's my '57 Willys wagon. That's just for parts. Yeah, you can see where the exhaust is. It's rotted and broke out. And that motor is pretty much not going to be repairable. I love the mechanical controls. Everybody wave at Cindy. And neat piece of equipment. The blade and the turntable are out. Well, you'll see part of the blade later on. The turntable's out is stored in the same area as the blade. Now, I'm not sure what's the story on the bathtubs, but do you see the old two-door Impala back there? Yeah, I bet you can't guess what engine's in that. Here's another critter we can look at. Used to be my grandfather's hay barn was right about here. And he had stalls next to it for his milking cows. And yeah, as a kid, used to go up in that barn. Now this is my Uncle Mike's truck. It does have a ding in the fender there right on the eyebrow. And some nitwit shot bullet holes in it. And the finger count again. Here's an old Alice Chalmers. There's an older critter. And it does have a Screamin' Jimmy in it. My understanding is it has a bad clutch pack in it right now, so it's just a setting there. A nice old piece of equipment, a nice piece of history. Now, you see those stake sides in there? Those belong to another truck that I'll show you in a minute. Yeah, way back over there with the tanks on it. This used to be the old farmyard. A lot of memories around here as a kid. He used to have a pond out here full of ducks. Well, there was every kind of animal you could imagine on here. This was used in the orchard. It used to have a boom on it, you know, with the grapple on the end to grasp the tree and shake the tree for the walnuts to fall out of. But they changed it over and put the lift on it instead. In fact, I'll try to remember to show you the boom in a second here, and the fingers. Built from International this way. It was used in a carnival as a power supply. Pretty neat piece of equipment. Now let's see if we can show you again. This is my Uncle Jack made that sign for my grandfather. And it used to be along the road on the way down. Now this, I believe it's a 65. Factory air, power steering, power brakes, and the numbers match on the motor. That'd be a nice toy to get a hold of. Wish it had those mags all the way around. It's a nice... Now here's the truck that I was talking about for those stake sides. This is the first year, 52 is the first year with the overhead valve motor. Yeah, they bought it brand new. Now this is my special bench. My great-great-grandfather, Micheal Larkin, at 81 years of age, he was mourning the imminent passing of Julia Larkin. And he went and sat out on that bench in the cold because he just did not know what to do. You know, 81 years old and you're losing your partner. And he was really upset and he sat out there in the cold. He ended up catching pneumonia and passed at the same time that she did. And they were buried together in the cemetery in Stockton, California. Now that's Julia Larkin. A distant relative of the Flynns that I mentioned earlier. Matter of fact, there's Micheal and Julia at the top. There's Owen and Matthew. And they're both World War I veterans that got gassed over in Europe, and they came home and the gas had so affected their lungs, neither one of them led a really long life. And Micheal Jr. at the bottom, well, we'll talk about that later. There's my grandfather, William Ignatius Larkin, and there's my grandmother, Geraldine Larkin. Yeah, grandfather used to tell me great stories sitting on that bench as a kid. And that's my grandfather doing what he loved best, being with the animals and milking one of the cows out there. I think her name was Flossie. Can't remember. Yeah. And there's this old fat booger sitting on there and enjoying memories on that bench. You know, sat on that bench with my grandfather a lot. He'd tell me stories. And just some good memories. That's 50 years ago. Here's, from left to right, is my Uncle Jack, my Uncle Micheal, my Uncle Jimmy, and my grandfather William. And their 2-ton Caterpillar. It's somewhere from in the early 50s that this picture was taken. There's Grandpa on the 2-ton. Wish I had a better picture with better resolution. I love memories seeing him on this as a kid. In fact, that tractor is still up there. There it is. It's stored in a barn. And like everything else up there, it ran when it was parked. It's neat to be able to go back out there and just go sit on things like that and just touch them. I love this old pull-along grader. And here's that Oliver 70 again. It looks like junk here, but he's got all the sheet metal and all the parts for it to put it back together. I love how it's got Oliver cast in the back of that differential. Coming through here, I was reminded again. See, there's the blade for the grader right there. Coming through right about here, I was reminded of why you don't wear sandals. I stuck a branch through the side of my foot, and as I was looking at this, oh boy, was I a cussing. You learn some new words. Yeah, it needs loving. You know, it really needs a lot of love. Now, I love this 47 KB5 that's sitting over here. That's another nice piece of equipment. Actually having to resort to grabbing my notes. There were 42 different K-series models built, and in 142 different wheelbase variations, from half-ton to 90,000-pound trucks. They were popular because they were durable, reliable, and economic. The KB series was released in 1947, the year this is. You had a choice of the single-speed rear end, which is what this is, or a two-speed rear end as an option. It's spent its entire life around the Central Valley. It has a 233 green diamond flathead 6 in it, 3 5/16 bore, 4.5 inch stroke, 6.3 to 1 compression, and it put a whole 93 horsepower at 3,400 RPMs. It's amazing. The options that they had that year was a second windshield wiper on the passenger side, or that oil bath, or the oil bath air filter, which isn't on this one, and it has an optional oil filter. It's another one that ran when it was parked. I imagine a carburetor rebuild and set of points and some gas, and she'd be ready to go. Now, let's go back around on this side and show you my fingers for a whole 20 seconds. Don't you love the look of those fine fingers? It had 650 20 tires all the way around, and the factory colors were either dark green, red, maroon, or black. All of them, the frame was black and the wheels were painted black. You got a few options on colors, but it's in pretty good shape, except for people have broken the emblems off of it and did a lot of damage that way. And internally, you'll see the only problem to it is the back of the cab has a teeny bit of rust in it. Now here's some more of Jack's collection of different toys. There's an RD down there. Mr. Floatin', are you seeing what I'm seeing? I know you're looking at it. Gotta tease TG about that. Yeah, there's There's 3 wheels of death right there. There's that 1930 Fageol Boom Truck. Doesn't have the original engine in it, but this critter was originally used at the port of Stockton for loading and unloading ships and rail cars. It was manufactured in Oakland and brought out there brand new. It actually still somewhat usable. Wonder how I did that. I got a video clip reversed That's the only real bad damage on that KB5. That bit of rust. It doesn't go all the way through though. Gotta look at some more fingers. Wow, I thought I had this better than this. Gotta excuse my poor video editing skills. And my fat fingers. I was using my cell phone more than I was using my video camera. Now we're back over here to the collection again. And that TD9 right there, that we'll get back to in a minute. But we'll walk back up and show you the Fageol again. Looking at that machinery for the winches and the boom it's amazing. And that 3 wheels of death again. Yeah, looking at that machinery and all the chains and just how heavy everything was built back then. Built to last. It could use a tire or two and then it'd be ready to take a putt down the road. There we go. I thought I had this video edited really good, but I didn't. If you notice there in that picture, you see the stop semaphore on the side of the cab? If you pull on it, inside, it actually pops out still. Although the stop lens is not there anymore, it's come apart. You can see the semaphore a little better in that picture. And you can just see how crazy the engineering was on that winch. Let's take a look inside the cab of this critter. There you go. There's the inside of the critter. Not a whole lot of bells and whistles back then. A seat, a steering wheel, shifters, and a couple gauges. It didn't even have roll-up windows. Yeah, I can remember being a young kid and being up there on the farm visiting when Uncle Jack brought that toy home and was showing us it. A little handful of sticks and levers there. It's from the passenger side. It's a neat old truck. I think originally it was powered by a Washika, or however they Waukesha. There's your builder's plate. Yeah, I found out as much as I found out about it by showing that to Cam Lavin. Thanks, Cam. Your help was invaluable. And I have no idea who that fat guy is sitting there on the running boards. If you do, let me know. But he does need to lose some weight. And, oh look, he's got sandals on. Yeah, it's my Uncle Jack's original TD9. You'll see other pictures of that too. Behind it there you'll see the 2-ton, and next to it you'll see an RD. And on the right there, that is a clee track. And it's mostly that. There's my Uncle Jack with that TD. That's long ago. Like I said, he still has it there. Actually, now he has a couple of those and a couple of the old TD6s. You get choked up looking at that picture a little bit. It is staying on the screen far longer than it's supposed to. Here you go. That was the best part of my day right there, was getting to sit with Uncle Jack, and we were being silly and telling jokes and having a good time and eating pie and ice cream. Really. He can't get around much anymore, but you get him talking about them old tractors, you'll learn a thing or three. Here's his old Model A dune, made his own dune buggy out of a Model A frame and running gear. You can see the four banger still in there, among other things. It hadn't run in 100 years, but I remember him talking about that thing so much. Now back here, there you go, a hoe payloader, or a huff, depending on how you pronounce it. It was one of the last toys that he was restoring. I want that mobile gas station sign in the background. Yeah, this thing is all there. The best part, you've got to watch every part of the video. You'll see all kinds of neat things. You see a lot of lawnmowers. That's because he was really good with small engines. He was rebuilding lawnmowers all the time. Fence is built from another. The fence is bent from another tree coming down a few years back. Wow, that's remarkably loud. Gonna have to work on that audio a bit. It's just too loud. Wonder if I can do this. That's an old, I believe that's an old Model A motor, and you'll see the rear end right there. Not sure exactly what it's out of. Nice little scooter there. There we go. More of the finger. Now walk around inside the shop. It never used to be this cluttered, but as a kid, this was just a heaven. You'd walk in here and there were just so many things to look at and just neat stuff everywhere. Got a lot of old porcelain signs like that Blake Transfer. That's an old sign. There's some Southern Pacific F unit builder's plates in there somewhere. The more you look around out here, the more neat things you see. Yeah. And here's one of the reasons kids love going out there, was those old calendars. Nothing showing, so I can show them on here. And you missed that can of oil that's up there on the shelf, one of the old style cans. There are just so many neat things to see inside of that shop. Just makes you doggone them fingers again. And more of the nut and bolt collection stuff. And now we're going to go ahead and take a putt back up that road, because it's the end of the day and it's time to head back. Wow, I seem to have missed some more video. Okay, now that we're heading away from the ranch, and we're going to go ahead and head on into Tracy, and we'll stop, munch out at the Golden Corral there, and then head on home before the rain gets too crazy. Well, I'm sorry for the little video issues in here. I'm having absolute nightmares with this software. I think I'm going to have to start looking for some other video editing software. Anyhow, you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. Bye.